All right. Good evening, Chief Diaz. Thank you for taking the time to join me.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Chief. Let me get right into it, man. I just left from Junkins Park, and the coach Terrell Elmore. He's been there for 25 years in the program since the very first day. And I'll show you this short clip here. He's giving emergency evacuation instructions to 8 and 9-year-olds.
Yeah, walk with me. Yeah, right there on the wall. Just so that we all know. All right.
Right. And Chief, what Coach Elmore also told me is a good portion of his team is missing today because their parents held them back from practice. Like I said, they're up there determining emergency evacuation plans for children. There's also a 6U team, young kids that are up there. Chief, what do you have to say to basically to this community and the CD Panther community, people right there in the Central District, Junkins Park?
This can't be the norm, and this can't be accepted in our community. We can't have 9-year-olds scared for their life when they're just trying to play football. We are putting contingency in place, and we've been in communication with the coach, and our captain of the East Precinct is going to make sure that we have officers that are patrolling the area, but as well as staffing the actual event, and so we have to make sure that we support our community and that we make it as safe as possible. As you know, this has probably been one of our biggest years of the amount of shots fired and violence that has occurred in our community. And we're doing everything we can to try and make sure that we put a stop to it.
All right, Chief, is there anything else that you want parents, community members to know? I mean, clearly about this issue and a larger issue that is impacting. And this is something that me and you have actually been talking about for a long time, as well as other stakeholders, elected, appointed, community members, is this issue of gun violence that's impacting our community.
Right now, a lot of times, people do not think that it impacts their community, but we've seen shots fired across our city just raise up. And when you think about kids and their impact and the trauma from the gunshots they hear, I was just down in the near Franklin High School meeting with community members who expressed that literally 2-year-olds to 5-year-olds that were as part of a daycare are now scared when they hear a certain sound. And so we've got to work all together. We've got to make sure that we are working with our community partners, that our community partners are figuring out ways to also step up and making sure that they let us know when guns are on the streets and that we need to recover those guns in a safe manner. And so I think it's all of us that need to work together to try and find a solution to this gun violence. We have done a couple different things. I look at it from about 5 different parts. I look at it from the community side. How are we working with community? I look at it from an analytics side. So are we responding to, the hot spots where we think where gun violence might be occurring? And then I look at it from the prevention side. Are we able to make sure that our guns are secure? Are we, taking people that have access to guns and then trying to, find ways to secure those guns? We look at it from an engineering component. So is there environment, potentially creating some level of criminal activity, such as can we find crime prevention measures to reduce, like cutting back brush and cutting back, areas where people can actually walk in. And then it's really the enforcement side is really identifying people that are doing the shootings and making sure that we take them off the streets. Every, family member that I've talked with that have lost a loved one or that has been impacted by gun violence will tell you that they just want to have justice for their loved one. And, that's one of the things that we can all do together to make sure that they have that level of justice for the lives that are lost.
Thank you, Chief. One last thing. I know I said one question, but it's just something that's passionate. What I said is it around Junkins. This is something that I've never seen or really seen before, but there's been a call for community members, and specifically Black men, to come to Junkins Park to provide a sense of safety and well-being and value and worth for these young children. And judging by social media and even just being up there in the park, this is a call that people are responding to. And I know that sometimes with put this gun violence in our community. It's difficult to get everybody moving on the same page. But what we're seeing, and we'll see what happens here, is that community is answering that call. I mean, what do you think about something like that, where community is like, you know what, enough is enough. We're going to come out. We're going to stand here. We're going to protect our kids.
I think it's fantastic. It's what we need. We, like I said, we need community to be involved in this. We know that we can't have police officers in every part of our city at all times when violence might occur. So we are counting on community to find ways that they can, step up and be present and be visible, and making sure that they, when they see potential levels of escalation of violence, that they can help, say, no, this can't be here. This cannot occur in the areas of our kids. And I think it's fantastic to see that calling, and know that we will also, want to show that level of involvement. We want to show that community that we're supporting them as well. And so I know that we're also making sure that we have a plan to support the community as well.
All right, Seattle Police Chief Adrian Diaz, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.